Today I want to do a quick little tour of my 2006 Chevy 3500 school bus conversion. Show you guys around and see what you think. So as you can see, it fits in a parking spot, a regular sized parking spot. Still got the school bus doors. I think eventually I'm going to put a wooden door in just with a handle, probably a deadbolt. All right, so first thing is this school bus had one seat when I got it for the driver, and then it had the rows of seat for the children. So I ripped all the seats out, obviously, to make space for the living area. And I have two kids of my own, and it's just better when you have passengers. It's better to have a seatbelt. So I found these two little jump seats at a junkyard. They were like $50 each. I had to fabricate some brackets and then bolt them down below the school bus. But the good thing about these is they don't take up any space really when they're folded. They come down. It might not be the most comfortable seat if you're driving across the country, but does the trick. Safety. So they both have working seat belts. That was the big thing too. If I take my kids somewhere and I want to make sure that they are safe. And then here is the dinette slash bed. So both of these have storage underneath. This one over here is more just for the battery, inverter, fuse panel for the stuff in the back, things like that. This one has a bunch of storage under here. So I made these cushions from like Michael's or Joanne. My dog started ripping that apart nice. This is like some cheap fake leather stuff. Pretty simple design. I just got a grommet kit and some twine. Eventually I might get these done more professionally, but this is fun for now. So these are just sitting in here like this. I'm gonna eventually put a hinge on this so it's a little easier to open and close, but opening this, tons of space in here. I got the AC port plug I gotta install still. A little compressor, tools, toolbox, some oil. Pretty simple design. Just back on there like that. So I've never slept on this, only my kids have. But when it's converted into a bed, it's pretty big, it's pretty long. For one adult, large adult, very comfortable. Two kids fit pretty easily on it. So let me put the table down the middle and put the cushions together so you can see how it is like a bed. So the conversion's pretty easy, only takes about a minute. Pretty simple design. And then the main sleeping area back here, a little messy. This is a full-size bed. So I built this with hinges and some pistons off Amazon. So literally one arm opens it up, pistons hold it open, because this is a ton of space back here. Great for storage. Easy to access while you're inside the vehicle. Some people would have like drawers that pull out, then you lose the space back there, space back there. You could access it from the back. Actually, I gotta move that 2x4. I gotta put one there and one there so you can access stuff in the back. It's good to keep some of the dirty stuff back here. Outdoor chairs, dog bowls, things like that. My generator fits under here. It's a lot of space. I actually have a broken slat right here. I gotta fix that. Kids would probably jump in the bed. Cheap wood from Home Depot, broke right at the knot, obviously. Yeah, there's a ton of space under here. You can fit a lot. You can fit a ton. I usually keep my toolboxes over here. I built a little storage space behind over here. A little storage space. For now, I just put hinges on it, and this just opens up like so. Keep some sheets in there, whatever, clothes. But what I'm gonna do eventually is put this, I'm gonna cut this in half, or maybe I'm gonna get some thinner wood probably, and put these, make these 2 sliding doors. So that way you don't have to have this open all the way up and take up so much space when you're in here. So basically you'll be able to lay in bed and open it with the sliding doors. This is another storage cabinet I built. All this is still unfinished. And actually this post right here is temporary, just to give it some extra support. Eventually I'm gonna put either a pole in here or maybe a wall right here behind the seats. I don't know, we'll see. But this, same thing, I'm gonna eventually put slider doors right here, make it easier so you don't have to have something opening up. Pretty simple design. 2 latches. Opens up, and ton of space in here. You can fit whatever. Tampons, water, salt, whatever you need. Here is our little TV, little New Hampshire Moose. This I put on a Harbor Freight. These things are like 15 bucks from Harbor Freight. Pretty good deal. So this comes out, we can face it towards the bed if we're laying in bed at night parked somewhere, or we can keep it like this so kids can see it, we can see it in the bed too. Pretty convenient, just bolted right in. So this right here, under the cabinet, this is kind of a temporary space. I think what I'm gonna do eventually is put a little sink in, so all the plumbing will be under here. This, for now, just bins, random stuff, stranded from when we cook. So this right here is the vent where the heat comes out. So under here, I have installed one of those cheap Chinese 12-volt diesel heaters. So one of the reasons too why I got this vehicle was this is a diesel truck, so the diesel heaters are pretty cheap, very easy to find. So I just tapped into the fuel line. There's the access for the top of the tank. Just drilled in there, put a line in for this. This heater's great. It blows hot air right away. Doesn't really matter how cold it is outside. It'll heat this bus up pretty easily. Gotta have wipes on a bus. So this is the controller for the heater. Pretty simple. Eventually, once this is done, I'll mount this probably on the wall right here. It's got a few settings. So I've had a diesel heater before. I used to have a Chevy Express van that I also converted to an RV. The only downside to these heaters is the fuel pump. The fuel pump ticks. For some people, you might not even notice it. For me, I put the fuel pump outside of the vehicle. I'm kind of a light sleeper with stuff like that. It goes tick, 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 literally the whole entire time it's running. You get used to it. They sell quieter fuel pumps online, I've seen. But for what it is, I mean, these things are like 150 bucks. It is what it is. It's great heat, it's dry heat, it's cheap. But the ticking can get annoying depending who you are. Let me turn it on real quick so you can kind of hear the ticking. All right, so the heater takes a few minutes to kick on and get going. So I just wanted to show you from the outside. I got everything mounted over here over the rear wheel. Pretty good spot for it. But yeah, you can hear the beeping there. You can hear the clicking there. Now let's go inside. I don't know how well you can hear that. I mean, it blows out hot air right away. Very good source of heat. Let's see. So if I'm laying in bed, see how loud it is. That can definitely get annoying for some people. Usually when you're putting the heat on here, it's because it's really cold outside, so you don't care with the clicking. The lower you put it, the less clicking you hear. The higher you put it, the more clicking. But usually a couple shots and a few beers will help you drown out the noise. So I installed a regular house AC, because this thing was just a few $100. It might have been like $250, something like that. They do sell RV ACs that go on the roof, but those things are expensive. Those are like $1,500. They're a lot more powerful, which is good, because this is the tin can. There is insulation in here, but in the summertime, this thing gets, in the sun, this thing gets super hot. So yeah, I installed this. Eventually I will get an RV AC. I just have to upgrade the battery system and get solar panels to be able to power it, because they draw a ton of power. So this is the AC from the outside. Little hippie looking. That pretty much gives away that there's somebody sleeping in here. Definitely this helps you get a lot of attention from, I would say, hippies, people like that. I can't tell you how many people have stopped me and they just think I'm a huge hippie for having a school bus. That's not the case. I'm not a hippie. So yeah, the AC sticks out pretty good. I installed this for support. It's in there pretty good. This isn't going anywhere. I mean, you can hang on this, nothing will happen. Eventually I'm going to take that out and put in a roof one. But this, for now, temporarily, is great. I mean, like I said, this thing in the sun heats up and just turns into an absolute oven. Originally, I got one of the cheaper window ACs, like 5,000 BTU. That wasn't enough. With this, it does the trick. This, you leave this on for a few hours and it's very comfortable in here. So, quick little view from the back door. Some access under here. Gas can, spare fuel for the generator. Jumper cables, always good to have. Storage under here. Empty bottle of Canadian maple whiskey. This stuff is delicious. So right now for lights, I got this thing. This is like $15 from Home Depot. Does the trick for now. I got these little ones too. I don't know, these are from Harbor Freight or something. These are pretty good too. They both have sensors, so get up at night and you gotta go pee or whatever. It's convenient having that. I did buy the little puck LED lights. I just haven't had time yet to install them. I think I have a total of 8, 4 in each box. These little LED lights, got them off Amazon. Pretty cheap, but they work pretty well, actually. Just little 12 volt LED. They get pretty bright. But yeah, these are pretty good, cheap on Amazon. I don't know, I forget the price. You can go on there, just search 12 volt puck LED light. This is probably one of my favorite things in the bus. This is a Dometic 12 volt freezer. It's got a pretty good amount of space. Can fit a ton of stuff in there. You know, full bottles of wine fit here, cans, beers, whatever. Non-alcoholic stuff too. It's got a few different settings. Right now I have it on the second to coldest. Here's the freezer part. I mean, this keeps things nice and cold, like legit frozen ice cream, everything. Actual freezer. You can actually take this out. So if you take this out, you can, I think you put on the coldest setting. I'm not sure. Online there's probably a manual to tell you how to do it. And then the whole thing becomes a freezer. Yeah, I love this thing. In my old RV I used to go camping in, my old Chevy Express van, I had a cooler with ice, and dealing with ice, you got to drain it every day. You You got to find ice. This thing is awesome. Barely uses any power. I mean, I think it uses like between like 2 to 3 amps at a time. I've got a 200 amp hour battery. It'll run this thing for days. I mean, I've left it running for easily 4 or 5 days, no problem. So when I show you the model number here, it looks like it's a CRX0050. In case you're interested, you can find these things. You know, I bought this used. I have a mechanic at work, and he sold me this and a pretty big inverter. He used to work on 18-wheelers, so a lot of truckers will have these in their rigs. And this is awesome. This is an awesome fridge. There might be better ones out there, but this cost me used, I don't even know, maybe like $150. Pretty hard to beat. And then under here is where I keep my battery and inverter. So let's lift this up and I'll show you guys what I got going on under here. This right here is the switch to turn the inverter on. So this converts 12 volt DC from the battery back here to 120 volts AC, so I can plug in the TV, a blender, coffee maker, whatever you want. So there is my inverter. It is Eaton 1800 watt continuous, 2000 watt surge. I've never had this thing pop on me or give me any problems. This is my battery charger. So here is my Renogy 200 amp hour lithium ion battery, built-in Bluetooth. So I have an app on my phone, gives me all the details about the battery. It's awesome. This is the Renogy charger. So it's 40 amps. They sell a 20, a 40, and a 60. I don't want to go too high to 60. I don't know if this alternator and this bus can really handle that. That's putting a lot of draw on your alternator, which could in turn make your alternator fail quickly. So these cables go to the battery, and then these over here come and go to the house battery. I've got a fuse block right here. I forget what this is called. Amazon special. You gotta fuse everything, obviously. Then this is a Renogy. This is 20 amps. So yeah, 20 amps. This is Renogy. I forget. This might be like, I don't even know. I forget, $1,500. Look on Amazon. I forget what that was. This battery actually wasn't bad. It was like $1,000, which for a decent 200 amp hour lithium ion battery from a name brand company, pretty good. So most people you have to plug 12 volts power into this and then it'll start charging. I put it on a switch, which I keep in here, so it'll charge when I put the switch on. Reason for that is because I don't want it to always be charging. I don't like to have it charging all the time, just because, you know, they say that it's good to let your alternator warm up before taking a heavy draw off of it. So I like to let the car warm up for a few minutes first, then I'll click on the charger if I need to charge the battery. So if this thing is completely dead, this 40 amp charger will charge it in about 5 hours completely. It'll charge it 100%. And the great thing about this battery is it's got a Bluetooth app installed, so you don't need to get a separate device with an ohm meter and blah blah blah, any of that. Just on your phone, it tells you exactly how many amps you're using, how much power you have left, battery percentage. So yeah, the battery is a 200 amp hour Renogy lithium ion battery. The battery for me, for my needs, is more than enough. Again, we just take this thing out on the weekends. We don't live in it full time. If I were to live in this full time, I might go bigger. I might get 400 amp hours, 600 amp hours, depending. The biggest draw is the AC. The AC draws a lot of power. I mean, this battery could only power this AC by itself for maybe like, I don't even know, 2.5 hours, and it would drain the whole battery. So I have a generator in the back. So if I need to run the AC somewhere, I'm off grid, there's no power, I can just plug it into the generator and I'm fine. I was debating on getting a bigger battery. Again, the battery is like $1,000. I think right now they're a little they're a little more expensive. They're like $1,200. For $1,200, you can buy 2 of those generators. You know what I mean? So it doesn't really make sense. I mean, it's convenient having the batteries. It's quiet. It's easy. There's no setup. But for the price, I mean, the generator, I can use it for going to the beach, camping, you know, in a tent, whatever. You can use it, you know, you need power. You need to power some power tools. It's convenient. It's got a lot of uses other than just being in here. I can use it for a lot of things, tailgating. But so yeah, the 200 amp hour battery for me, like I said, it's more than enough. The fridge doesn't draw a lot of power. The diesel heater draws a little bit, also not a lot. I think the fridge draws like 2-3 amps. The diesel heater might draw like 3 amps, so 6 amps. I mean, in 10 hours, you're gonna only use 60 amp hours. Battery's 200 amp hours. So it's got a lot of juice. And then if I'm parked at a campground and they have power, I plug into that. For cooking in here, we use an induction cooktop off Amazon, like 50-60 bucks. This battery is good. It can draw a lot of amps at once. I think it's rated for maybe 100, 200 amps constant draw. So it's definitely more than powerful enough for the losing my train of thought here. It's definitely more than powerful enough to power the induction cooktop. We have a hot tea kettle that we use for coffee. Powers that no problem. So right now I can't see needing anything bigger. What I am going to do is I do want to get solar panels to help, you know, kind of trickle charge the battery. When I'm at home, I just plug it in. I plug in the AC charger. It charges at 20 amps. It charges it within 10 hours. You know what I mean? So that's easy right there. All right, I'm trying to think what else. Oh, right here. So I got this, again, guess where? Amazon. This backup cam, 12 volt, so it plugs in the cigarette lighter. This was like 40 bucks. So it's pretty good. It also has night vision. Mine is actually mounted right near the brake light, the license plate light, so it kind of blinds it at night a little bit, but it actually can see at night really well. This is a lifesaver, especially trying to back up a school bus. Free ad for Coca-Cola. But yeah, this is a great little backup cam. It was like 35, 40 bucks off Amazon. Just plugs right into 12 volts. I ran the cable here, down, under there, cut a hole, installed it with a grommet, ran back, and it came with the camera, came with enough cable to make it all the way back there for like 40 bucks. Can't beat that. So since this obviously was a school bus, I have all this stuff here. Some of these things were taken off. They still, like I took out the rear heater. It was a cool little design. Basically, it had a hose from the radiator up front that went to another little radiator in the back with a fan that would blow, and it was a decent little heater, but it was kind of right in the middle under where a seat was, so it didn't really work. Doesn't really work for me. Came with a first aid kit. That actually came in handy one time. We were ice fishing and my buddy slipped, cracked his head wide open. So that actually has come in handy already. A few stickers from where we've been. This might have been when we hiked Mount Washington. This is from a national park in Quebec, Canada. Martha's Vineyard, Portland, Maine, somewhere in New Hampshire, another Martha's Vineyard, the Adirondacks. If you like camping in private, the Adirondacks, I think I don't even want to say it, I don't want to blow it up. In the Adirondacks, it's near Inlet, New York. It's like Moose River Plains, something like that. It's like 150 free dispersed campsites. They each have an outhouse, a fire pit, and a picnic table. And they're all pretty private, but it's very plentiful. You go there and you're going to always find a spot. Awesome place. It's cooler there. Not good cell reception there, but look it up, Moose River Plains. Leave a comment below. I can find the exact details. So yeah, this is it. I'm trying to think if I missed anything. This is actually the AC that the school bus company installed. It worked when I first got it. Something happened, doesn't work anymore. Whatever. These are pretty cool, these escape hatches. Just pop these open like that. Pretty nice. Gives you a good view outside. Yeah, there's 2 of these. These are good for airflow when you're cooking or whatever. This actually opens up all the way too, so if you did need to escape, if there's a fire or whatever, you can use this as an emergency exit. These curtains are homemade, if you can't tell. Trash bag temporarily. Eventually I'm gonna get real curtains for the windows. These are all, this is just fabric from, I forget where, to block the sun. I just put them in with self-tapping screws. Pretty simple for now. If I want to open one, just put it up. Boom with it. Just put it up with one of these magnets, hold it open. And this right here is our temporary bathroom. It's a luggable loo. They have cheaper ones on like Amazon where you can just get like a cover for a 5-gallon toilet. They suck. They don't work that well. They break. They're flimsy. These are pretty rugged. Hooked in there with a clip. Luggable loos are great. I have these. They sell these bags for them. Actually, I think I picked this up in Canada at a Canadian Tire. These aren't cheap, but they're good. They're double bag, double lined. They have some sort of biogel waste gelation thing in the bottom, so maybe it helps break down whatever. Yeah, if you got a poop in a pinch, these are pretty good, convenient. I can't really think of anything else right now to show. This bus is still a work in progress. There's still a lot to do. Eventually, my plan is I'm going to put a bathroom in right here. It's going to have a compost toilet, probably Nature's Head, vented outside, and those are actually water resistant, so I'm going to have a shower head right over it, little enclosure, so you can shower right over the toilet. It'll be a on-demand hot water heater, propane. So yeah, for now I can't think of much else to show, but again, it's a work in progress. There's a lot more to do. I got to do a lot of finishing to the wood. It'll probably take, who knows, it might take another year or so to finish it, but for the way it is right now, it's definitely good enough to go anywhere. We've taken it on probably 10 trips at least, probably something this thing, at least a total of 25, 30 nights or so. I've taken it to Florida, Canada, the Adirondacks, Martha's Vineyard, bunch of places. It's done pretty well. What I like about this bus is the platform is a Chevy 3500. It's a very common vehicle. They use it for tons of applications, from like dump trucks to just regular pickup trucks, whatever. So you need a part for this. You're on the road, you're on a trip somewhere, you can easily find a part for it. Alternator, starter, hoses, anything you could think of, you can probably get one. You can probably get a part for it easily from any AutoZone or O'Reilly's, things like that. Very common. So it's a diesel too, which is good. It's got plenty of torque. It has no problem pulling this thing around. It's got dualies in the back, so it can hold a ton of weight. The diesel is great. You know, they're reliable engines. They can last hundreds of thousands of miles with just, you know, basic maintenance. But right now, diesel is pretty expensive. But if you do the math, I think in this thing, I might get around 18, 19 miles to the gallon. If this were a gas engine, you might get maybe 10, 12, depending which engine. So at the end of the day, being that diesel right now is like $6 a gallon, gas is like $3.80, $4. I think you still either save a little bit of money on this, or you might break even as if it were gas. The good thing about the diesel engine is it can go a lot further on a gallon of fuel, whereas the gasoline engine in this thing might take you 12 miles, where the diesel will take you 18, 19. So you can go further with less fill-ups. That's a plus. And like I said, you know, people these days, they're getting these Sprinter vans, which to get one of those is like 30 grand for a used one that's decent, and then you still got to convert it. I got this thing for $3,000 off Facebook Marketplace. It was originally a school bus, I don't know where, and then a church had it for a few years. I got it with like 112,000 miles on it. It's got 120 now, and the engine is great. Mechanically, this thing is sound. I've had to do minimal work to it. Had to throw a few tires on it and alignment. E-brake in the back, I had to change the shoes on that. The starter went, I had to change the starter, and the alternator might be going soon, which could be from charging the lithium-ion battery off of it. So when I change the alternator, I might try and see if I can get one that's has a little higher amperage output. But all in all, it's a great vehicle. For $3,000, you can't beat that. Again, when you're comparing it to a $30,000, $40,000 Sprinter van, you know. One downside though is I primarily live in Massachusetts, and they don't make it easy to register a school bus as an RV. You actually have to convert it first, and you have to have like 2 out of a few things, like a toilet, running water, and then they have to do an inspection on it in order to make it an RV. That's at least what I read when I first got this thing. Maybe things have changed now, I don't know. So what I did some research online, and I found out that you can actually register these things in Vermont, and you don't have to be a resident of Vermont. I went to the RMV there, gave them the title, and actually in Vermont, you don't need a title to register a vehicle. You can get away with just a bill of sale, which that can be good for a bunch of different things. You know, you buy a car really cheap off someone, they lost the title, they can't get it. You go to Vermont, you can get a title for it. So I registered it in Vermont, got the plates right away, and then I had to get the insurance for it, which was a little tricky too. A lot of places don't want to insure an RV school bus conversion while it's being converted. I found a company, I think it might be Good Sam. It might be through them, or I had to get a Good Sam membership in order to get the coverage, whatever. If you have any questions about it, leave comments below, and I can get the information for you. I can get the agent. So yeah, there's a little bit of downside. Massachusetts is one of the worst states to try and register a school bus in. It is what it is. If you live somewhere else, it could be easy. If you've had any experiences with that or issues, feel free to leave a comment below. If you have any solutions for someone trying to register a school bus in Massachusetts, let me know. But again, the Vermont thing worked fine for me. And now it's great to know that if I buy a car without a title, if I get a bill of sale, I can still register it and get a title for it, which is awesome. I think a vehicle older than 15 years, they don't give you a title, they give you a transferable registration, which is the same thing as a title. But yeah, like I said, I love this thing, how it's bigger than a Sprinter van for the most part. It might not be as high. I'm about 5'11", and my head touches right here. But in the middle, I still have a few inches of space. So if you're like 6 something, you might want to get the Sprinter van, whatever. But like I said, it's a great deal for what it is. It's a strong GM vehicle, easy to get parts for, cheap parts too. That's the thing about GM. Some of those Mercedes Sprinter vans can be kind of expensive to get parts for. They're known to have issues. This Duramax diesel engine, the 6.6, I don't think it was made for too long, but it's supposed to be an overbuilt engine that's supposed to last and be hardy. Just gotta change the oil regularly, keep up on it. Yeah, it's a work in progress. You know, let me know what you think. If you got any cool ideas, let me know. Again, the next big project is gonna be putting the bathroom in. So basically, anywhere you are, you can completely be off grid and have, you know, a hot shower even when it's, you know, -5 degrees Fahrenheit outside. So that's pretty cool. Basically, my long-term goal is to have this thing be like self-sustainable for the most part, where if you wanted to, you could live in this. Now, I can't live in it. I have a house, a family, a business, but like my dream one day would be to like live in a school bus and drive around the country and go to Mexico and South America. I mean, that would be pretty cool. I've seen people on YouTube do that, but I'm years away from being able to do something like that. You know, maybe later on. That would be pretty cool. Hopefully Mexico gets safer. But yeah, thanks for watching. I don't really know what I've spent so far on it. Most expensive was the purchase of the vehicle itself, the battery, fridge, and then the rest is wood, screws, things like that. So yeah, feel free to leave some comments about any advice, tips, whatever. Thank you for watching, and keep an eye out for the next one. Oh, and one last thing too. Driving this thing, it's pretty comfortable. It drives pretty easily. Diesel engine has good pickup. The brakes, this thing stops pretty quickly. It's smooth, the steering is good. Yeah, it's a pretty comfortable drive. Like I said, I've driven this thing from Mass to Florida, and very comfortable. So there's no radio in it. Eventually one day I might put a radio in, but honestly, it's so loud in here when you're driving the highway that it would be so hard to hear from the speakers. You'd have to turn up so loud. I have a Bluetooth speaker that I use sometimes, but I mean the AirPods are basically the best because they drown out the sound. One last thing that I think is probably worth mentioning, might be a bad thing for you, might be a good thing, is if you decide to get a school bus, you will get attention. Yeah, I can't tell you how many people have come up to me on trips and go, "Oh wow, can I see inside?" But people are like amazed by it. You know, I can't tell you how many people I've caught so many people when I'm outside the bus, just walking back from wherever, people taking pictures of it, people filming it. Like, people are so amazed. Yeah, people will give you attention. I haven't had any bad attention for it. I haven't, I haven't gotten a knock at night, anything like that. But people are like intrigued by a school bus with like an AC hanging out the back. They're probably gonna think you're a hippie. You're gonna get a lot of attention from hippies. I'm not a hippie personally, nothing against hippies. It's kind of cool, you know, people really, these things are interesting to people. It's not every day you see a school bus. You see someone that looks like they're living in a school bus. So many people have asked me, "Oh, do you live in that thing? Do you live in that thing full time?" No, I have a house and a regular life. You know, I was at a coffee shop one day, and we're getting ready to go on a trip, and my girlfriend's in the bus, and I pull up, and these like schoolgirls come up to the bus. They see me getting out, and they go, "Oh my God, can we see your school bus?" And I'm thinking, did your parents not raise you right? You're gonna go up to some random weird guy with a beard in a school bus and ask to see it? So then I said, sure, yeah, go talk to the girlfriend. She was pretty pissed about it. She had like 5 giggly schoolgirls, walking in, touring the bus real quick. But yeah, people love it. It's pretty cool. It's interesting. You will get attention, whether you like it or not.